In the year 3213 BCE, in the midst of the sprawling Indus Valley civilization, there lived a people known as the Athers. They were an enigmatic and reclusive society that dwelled in the farthest reaches of the ancient world. For centuries, they had maintained a mystical connection to the cosmos, communing with celestial bodies and harnessing their energies. The Athers society was built upon a foundation of advanced knowledge, which they acquired through an intricate network of observatories, libraries, and learning centers. They developed sophisticated technologies that complemented their spiritual pursuits, including intricately crafted clockwork devices, resonant crystals, and other enigmatic machines that seemed to defy the laws of physics. One such device was known as the Echo Keeper, a towering, crystal-encrusted structure capable of storing and transmitting the collective knowledge and experiences of generations. The Athers believed that by tuning into the Keeper's resonance, they could tap into a deep wellspring of wisdom and intuition. As time passed, however, an ominous presence began to loom on the horizon. The land-dwelling humans, known as the Lyrians, had long been at odds with one another. Their civilizations rose and fell in cycles of conflict and cooperation, leaving scars that would never fully heal. A new era dawned when the Illyrian Empire expanded its borders, swallowing entire nations whole. Their scientists, inspired by ancient myths of the Athers, turned their attention to harnessing the very essence of the stars. They constructed sprawling, city-sized machines called the Aetherian, massive arrays of crystal and metal that reached for the heavens. These behemoths were said to channel the celestial energy of distant stars, bending it toward Earth's surface. But as they grew in power, so did their destructive potential. Illyrian forces clashed with those who opposed them, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Meanwhile, deep within their subterranean sanctum, the Athers watched with growing concern as their human counterparts hurtled toward catastrophe. They realized that the Illyrians' ambitions would soon disrupt the delicate balance of the cosmos, a prospect the Athers could not abide. With great reluctance, the Athers decided to intervene in the affairs of humans. Their enigmatic leader, Jothic, initiated contact with the Illyrian Empire's ruling class. Under the guise of benevolent advisors, the Athers infiltrated the highest echelons of power, guiding key decisions that would shape the course of human history. One individual in particular, a brilliant and visionary scientist named Erebus, proved instrumental in altering the trajectory of humanity. An unwitting pawn in Jothic's plan, Erebus was secretly mentored by an Aetherian sage known as Lyra. Through their tutelage, Lyra infused Erebus with forbidden knowledge, arcane secrets that would reshape the fabric of reality. As a result, the Aethers' influence spread throughout the Illyrian Empire, subtly guiding the development of new technologies and philosophies. The humans began to harness the power of stars themselves, channeling it toward more peaceful ends. Wars dwindled in number as Illyrian leaders became increasingly inclined toward diplomacy. However, not all humans welcomed this transformation. A splinter faction emerged, denouncing the Athers' manipulation as an affront to human autonomy. They saw the ancient civilization's influence as a threat to their very existence, a perception fueled by the enigmatic nature of the Athers themselves. In response, Jothic activated the Echo Keeper, transmitting a profound message into the hearts and minds of humanity. Through this cosmic whispering, the Athers conveyed a simple yet transformative truth that they had come not to rule or dominate, but to share in the human experience, to guide those who would listen. Their motives were twofold. Firstly, by helping the Illyrians transcend their primitive nature and achieve harmony with one another, the Athers ensured a new era of balance within the cosmos. Secondly, through this symbiotic relationship, they could continue to gather knowledge from the humans, absorbing the lessons of a civilization in turmoil. Over time, as humanity continued to evolve, so did its perception of the Athers. What began as a whispered rumor became a widely acknowledged fact, that these ancient beings had indeed visited Earth, offering their wisdom and guidance when it was most desperately needed. As for Erebus, now an elder statesman within the Illyrian Empire, he looked back upon his extraordinary odyssey with mixed emotions. He remembered Lyra's words, "The silence of the cosmos will be broken, but at what cost to those who dwell within?" Erebus's thoughts were interrupted by a discreet knock on his chamber door. His trusted assistant, Arin, entered with a somber expression. "Erebus, a message from Jothic has arrived," she said, handing him a delicate crystal orb containing the Aetherian leader's transmission. As Erebus accepted the orb, he felt an odd tingling sensation in his fingers. The Echo Keeper's energy resonated within him once more, stirring memories of Lyra and their time spent among the stars. "Erebus," Jothic's voice echoed within his mind, "the Illyrian Empire has reached a critical juncture. Their scientific advancements have begun to disrupt the balance of the cosmos. The Athers can no longer maintain this delicate equilibrium. It is time for our plan to come full circle." Erebus's eyes widened as he grasped the true nature of his mentorship by Lyra and the Athers' intervention in human affairs. "What do you propose, Jothic?" He asked aloud, though he already suspected the answer. A select group of Illyrian scientists will be chosen to participate in a new initiative, one that will enable us to harvest the accumulated knowledge from the Eka Keeper. This collective understanding, distilled and focused through our crystal machines, will unlock a power capable of rewiring the very fabric of reality. Erebus's mind reeled at the implications. He had always suspected the Aether's motivations were not entirely altruistic, but he had never imagined they would ask him to be part of their grand design. What about the risks? Erebus inquired, though he knew Jothik was already aware of them. The balance of power will shift, the Aetherian leader replied. Those who choose to resist our guidance will face unforeseen consequences. But I assure you, Erebus, this path is the only one left for us. The Illyrians must be guided toward a new era, an era where they can join forces with the Aethers and together shape the cosmos. With these words, Jothik vanished from Erebus's mind, leaving him to ponder the weight of his responsibilities. Arin watched as her master struggled to come to terms with the revelations. What does this mean for us? She asked softly. Erebus met her gaze, a hint of conviction in his eyes. It means we have a chance to redefine our place within the cosmos, to become something more than just passive observers. As Arin nodded understanding, Erebus's thoughts turned toward Lyra and the Aether's mysterious purposes. He realized that their intervention was not without its costs, for every action in this grand tapestry had far-reaching consequences. In the depths of a nearby observatory, a lone astronomer named Althea made an unexpected discovery, a faint resonance emanating from the stars themselves. As she studied it further, she sensed an eerie familiarity to the pattern. Suddenly, memories began to surface within her mind, fragmented recollections of ancient civilizations, celestial bodies imbued with conscious intent, and whispers of Jothik's wise words carried on the cosmic wind. Althea knew that the time for humanity's silent observer status was drawing to a close. The Aether's guidance had awakened something deep within her, an intuition guiding her toward an ancient truth. In this moment, as Erebus pondered his decision and Althea grappled with her newfound understanding, the stage was set for a revolution in human thought. Althea's eyes widened as she grasped the implications of her discovery. The resonance she had detected was none other than the Eco Keeper's own frequency, the signature of the Aether's collective knowledge and experience. She remembered a conversation with Erebus, who had mentioned the Echo Keeper in passing. It seemed that he, too, knew more about this mysterious device than he had let on. Althea felt an unsettling sense of being part of a larger narrative, one that involved ancient beings, cosmic powers, and humanity's destiny. As she delved deeper into her research, Althea began to experience strange visions, flashes of knowledge and insight that seemed to originate from beyond the stars themselves. It was as if the Aether's guidance had awakened a part of her mind, allowing her to tap into the collective unconscious of the cosmos. Erebus, sensing the change within her, approached Althea with caution. "You've made a discovery," he said, his eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "One that threatens to upend everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe." Althea nodded, still reeling from the implications. "I think I understand now why the Aethers intervened in human affairs. They're not just guides, they're gatekeepers." Erebus's expression turned grim. "What do you mean?" "They've been preparing humanity for a transition," Althea explained. "A transition into a new era, where our collective understanding and technological advancements will allow us to tap into the Echo Keeper's power. But at what cost?" As the weight of her words sank in, Erebus knew that their conversation was being overheard by forces beyond their comprehension. "You're right," he whispered. "The Aether's guidance has been leading us toward a threshold, one from which there is no return." Althea's eyes locked onto his, filled with a mix of trepidation and determination. "Then we have to make a choice, continue down this path or forge our own way into the unknown." In that moment, they both knew that their decisions would shape not only humanity's future but also the course of cosmic history. As Althea's words through the observatory, a figure emerged from the shadows, Arin, Erebus's trusted assistant. Her eyes gleamed with an unnerving intensity as she revealed a shocking truth. "The Aether's plan is already in motion," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And it seems that certain individuals have been chosen to participate in this grand design, whether they like it or not." With these words, the fragile balance between human free will and the Aether's guidance began to crumble. Arin's revelation sent a shiver down Erebus's spine as he realized that Jothik's plan was more extensive than he had initially suspected. The Echo Keeper, once a symbol of hope and guidance, now seemed like a tool for controlling humanity's destiny. "You're telling me that some people have been selected to participate in this initiative?" Althea asked, her voice laced with skepticism. Arin nodded gravely. "Yes, a select group has already begun their training within the Illyrian Empire's facilities. They will be the vanguard of humanity's new era, a bridge between our species and the Aether's influence. Erebus felt a cold dread creeping up his spine as he understood the true nature of Juthik's plan. What about those who refuse to participate? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Arin's eyes seemed to bore into his soul as she replied, "Those who resist will be rejudicated. Their memories will be altered, their minds reshaped to conform to the Aether's vision." But the room fell silent as the weight of Arin's words settled upon them. It was clear that they had stumbled into a web of intrigue and deception, with humanity's very future hanging in the balance. Althea spoke up, her voice firm and resolute. "We can't let this happen. We have to stop Juthik and the Aethers before it's too late." Erebus hesitated, torn between his loyalty to Lyra and his growing unease with the Aether's intentions. He knew that he couldn't stay silent any longer. "What about the Illyrian scientists who are being trained?" he asked Arin. "Are they aware of what they're getting themselves into?" Arin's expression turned somber. "They think they're part of a groundbreaking initiative, one that will unlock humanity's true potential. But deep down, they know something is off." Erebus nodded grimly. "Then we have to get them out of this before it's too late." With Arin's guidance, the three of them devised a plan to infiltrate the Illyrian Empire's facilities and extract the unwitting participants from Juthik's web of influence. As they set their course for the Empire, a mysterious energy signature began to resonate across the cosmos, a call to arms from an unknown entity, echoing through the void like a beacon of hope in the darkness. In response to this signal, a lone figure emerged on the distant planet of Ceridia V. Kalen Darkheaven, a skilled smuggler with ties to the Aethers, had been tracking Erebus's journey and was now being drawn into their orbit. With his ship, the Mavericks Requiem, he hurtled toward the Illyrian Empire, ready to join forces with Althea, Erebus, and Arin in a desperate bid to save humanity from its own destiny. As they converged on the Empire, the balance of power began to shift. The Aether's grip on human affairs was about to be challenged by an unlikely coalition, one that would either forge a new path for humanity or seal their fate forever. Kellen Darkheaven's ship, the Mavericks Requiem, pierced through the asteroid field surrounding the Illyrian Empire's primary research facility. The smuggler's rugged features were etched with a mix of concern and determination as he set his course for the heart of the Empire. Erebus's plan is to infiltrate the facility and extract the unwitting participants from Juthik's web. Althea briefed him, her voice steady over the comms link. "We need your expertise to get us inside undetected." Kellen nodded, his eyes fixed on the holographic display projecting the Empire's layout. "I've got a contact within the facility who owes me a favor. We can use that to get us close to the participants without raising any alarms." Arin spoke up, her voice laced with caution. "We need to be careful. If Juthik or his agents catch wind of our plan, we'll never make it out alive." Erebus's expression was grim. "I know, but we have no choice. We owe it to Lyra and the others who trusted us to take a stand against this injustice." But as they approached the facility, Kalen's contact, a rebellious scientist named Alara, transmitted a series of encrypted coordinates that would guide them through the Empire's internal security systems. The Mavericks Requiem docked in a high-security hangar, where Kalen and his team disembarked to make their way through the corridors. They moved swiftly and silently, avoiding detection by Juthik's agents who patrolled the facility's perimeters. Their destination was the neural rejudication chamber, the heart of Juthik's plan to reshape humanity in the Aether's image. Althea, Erebus, Arin, and Kellen knew that they had to act quickly before it was too late for those trapped within. Upon reaching the chamber, they found themselves face to face with a group of Illyrian scientists who were being conditioned to serve as the first wave of Aether-influenced agents. The room's atmosphere was heavy with the scent of ozone and desperation. "Welcome, Erebus," one of the scientists said, his eyes clouded by the influence of Juthik's technology. "We've been waiting for you." With a mixture of emotions, Erebus approached the scientist, knowing that he had to break through the mental conditioning imposed on him. He reached out with his mind, connecting with Lyra and drawing upon their shared memories. The battle for control raged within the scientist's mind as Erebus fought to free him from Juthik's influence. The air was filled with crackling energy as Kellen, Althea, and Arin worked in tandem to disable the neural rejudication equipment. With every passing moment, the stakes grew higher. Juthik's agents closed in on their position, determined to eliminate any threats to their plan. As the battle for control reached its climax, Erebus knew that they were running out of time. Meanwhile, on a distant planet, Lyra watched with bated breath as Erebus and his allies struggled against the Empire's forces. Her heart swelled with pride and love for those who stood against the Aether's tyranny. She realized that she was not alone in her fight for freedom. A mysterious energy signature echoed through her mind, a call from an unknown ally who would soon join the battle against Juthik's regime. The outcome of this epic struggle hung in the balance. as Erebus and his companions fought to forge a new path for humanity amidst the shadows of an oppressive empire. As the battle raged on within the neural reeducation chamber, Erebus finally managed to break through the mental conditioning imposed on the Illyrian scientist. The man's eyes snapped back into focus, and he turned against Jothic's agents who had been controlling him. With renewed determination, the scientist joined forces with Erebus and his allies. Together they fought to disable the neural reeducation equipment and free the remaining participants from their mental shackles. Kalen Darkhaven took point, using his knowledge of the facility's layout to navigate them through the corridors and avoid detection by Jothic's agents. Althea and Aaron provided covering fire, taking down any enemies who dared to stand in their way. As they fought, Lyra watched with growing concern from her distant vantage point. She knew that Erebus and his companions were running out of time, and the Empire's forces were closing in on them. Suddenly, a strange energy signature appeared on her comm screen, bearing an unfamiliar identifier code. The message was garbled, but one phrase stood out: Project Elysium, initiating extraction protocol. Lyra's heart skipped a beat as she realized that this must be the mysterious ally who had been watching over her from the shadows. She felt a surge of hope and determination, knowing that they might just have a chance to turn the tide against Jothic's empire. Without hesitation, Lyra responded to the message, opening a secure channel with the unknown sender. Project Elysium, receiving your signal. What is your status? A soft, melodious voice replied, Lyra, we're here to help. We've been tracking Erebus's journey and have located him within the Empire's facility. Our extraction team will be arriving shortly to assist in his rescue. As Lyra listened to the words of reassurance, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. Maybe, just maybe, they could still save Erebus and break free from Jothic's grasp. But little did Lyra know that Project Elysium was not what it seemed. As their extraction team arrived at the facility, they were met with an unexpected surprise. A group of rogue Ether agents who had defected from Jothic's regime and now sought to overthrow him from within. The leader of this rogue faction, a woman named Kaida, revealed a shocking truth. Jothic has been manipulating Erebus all along. He's not what he seems. Lyra's world was turned upside down as she grappled with the revelation. Was everything she thought she knew about Erebus and her own mission a lie? And who could be trusted in this treacherous game of deception and betrayal? As the stakes reached new heights, Lyra realized that the truth behind Project Elysium was far more complex than she had ever imagined. Kaida's words hung in the air like a challenge, and Lyra's mind reeled as she struggled to process the revelation. She felt a wave of emotions: shock, anger, and betrayal. How could Jothic manipulate Erebus? Althea asked, her voice laced with concern. What does this mean for our mission? Kaida's expression was grim. Joth has been using Erebus as a pawn in his game of power. He's been feeding him misinformation and using him to further his own agenda. Lyra felt a surge of indignation on behalf of her friends, but Kalen Darkhaven merely nodded thoughtfully. It makes sense, he said. Erebus has always had a complicated past. It's possible that Jothic exploited those weaknesses. Irene spoke up, her voice firm. Regardless of the truth behind Erebus's intentions, we can't let Jothic get away with this. We have to stop him and free the participants from his control. Kaida nodded in agreement. I'll help you infiltrate the facility and take out Jothic's agents. But we need to be careful. There are more others on site than just those controlling the participants. As they devised a plan, Lyra couldn't shake off the feeling that she'd been living in a lie. Had Erebus truly been working with her all along, or was he playing a deeper game? Their team made their way through the corridors, avoiding detection by Jothic's agents and making their way to the central hub of the facility. Lyra felt a sense of trepidation as they approached the heart of the operation. When they finally reached the control room, Lyra was met with a sight that took her breath away. Erebus stood at the center of the room, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly energy. He seemed to be channeling some sort of dark power, one that Lyra recognized as etheric in nature. Kalen's voice whispered in her ear. Looks like Jothic's been manipulating him all right. Lyra felt a pang of sadness and disappointment, mixed with fear for the man she thought was her friend. How could Erebus have kept this from her? As they prepared to take down Jothic's agents, Lyra knew that their mission had just become even more complicated. Would they be able to free Erebus from his etheric bindings and turn him back to their side? Or would he remain a pawn in Jothic's game of power? The fate of the Illyrian Empire hung in the balance, as Lyra and her companions fought against impossible odds.